What's up, YouTube? Dark Lord of Sword here. So it is uh, it is October 21st when I'm recording this, and it's starting to get colder and wetter where I live. So there's going to be a bit of a gap in terms of new projects. So in order to make up the gap, I'm going to go ahead and do some discussion videos. Today I'm going to talk about the different ways I've made katana over the years and which one might be right for your costume needs. We're going to start here with the bottom. So you may recognize this. This is my old tsunagi build. For those who don't remember, a tsunagi is a wooden katana blade that has the same proportions as a real one and normally used for storing spare sets of koshire. That is the kashira, the fushi, the suba, saya, etc. Just all of the fittings while a katana is in storage, and long term, so that they don't make the blade rust. The benefits of a tsunagi build is that your sword has exactly the correct proportions. It is as thick as a real katana blade. It is as wide as a real katana blade. It is as long as a real katana blade. And you can also find real saya that will fit them. Not guaranteed, there's always slight variations, but you can generally expect that a saya that you buy on Amazon and from a katana supply company will fit most tsunagi with a little bit of adjustment. And the downside is that because they're so thin, and they are, of course, wood, they are fairly fragile. I have had several that were completely snapped during shipping and obligated me to make some other design or to make a shorter sword. But again, they are an option that is available if you need one. I would also suggest, if you decide to paint one, make sure that you paint both sides. If you try to paint just one side and then wait for whatever reason, you will wind up warping the blade. Now, if you're going to make one completely from scratch, you can find just any piece of wooden trimming or slat stock from Home Depot or Ace or whatever your preferred hardware store is. As long as they sell on wood, they will have something like this here in the middle. This is naturally more robust. The whole length, or the entire length, is a 1/4 inch thick. And you can shape it with just a few pieces of sandpaper and a sanding block. You can find a piece that is naturally sabered like this. Or if you know how to bend wood, you can do it that way. This one, I'm going to focus more on the suka. This I built up using epoxy sculpt, which is a very expensive method. I do not recommend it. It also makes the suka very, very heavy. However, it gives you more control in allowing you to make textures and carving without worrying about wood grain. This one also has an all foam guard. It is a single piece of 1/4 inch thick EVA foam. The benefit there is that you can carve it and cut it and sand it, seal it, foam it, or sand it, seal it, paint it, just like you would any other EVA foam. And that also makes it slightly more durable. It will flex, but that also means it will bend and might not bend back. A variation on this is my water dragon sword here. This is the same as the previous one, slightly more refined. As you can see, this one was made later, and I had much more of a handle on getting the edge shaped properly and how to do the habaki better. This one has wooden slats on either side of the tang to build it up, and then a single piece of 80 grit sandpaper wrapped around it to form faux samegawa, which I then painted over and then wrapped, and so on. The guard on this one is is sculpted from epoxy sculpt, as is the Fuchi, which is a little snake here. Again, that increased the weight, but not so much. The problem with making the guard out of epoxy sculpt is that it is fragile. Not super fragile, but if you try to make it bigger than this, which is a Hamidashi Tsuba, it can snap if forced too much. Which brings us to the way I currently make my katana, the ones that you've seen all last summer, which is a strip of sabered wood, and 1/4 inch thick, edge and point sanded into shape, 2 pieces of wood on either side of the tang, sanded round with craft foam, 2mm craft foam you can get from any hobby store for the Fuchi, or for the Kashira and the Fuchi, and a sandwich of styrene sheets with craft foam for the Tsuba. This gives you much more control, a much more sturdy base on which to build that still has a bit of flex in it so that it can get bumped into stuff without taking any damage, and tends to look very, very nice. If you want something that looks realistic, or especially if you want to replicate your favorite anime sword, this is the method I would go with. But, as always, pick what's right for you, and you really can't go wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one, where we'll be looking at Fantasy Djinn.